So, hello everyone. Welcome to the first edition of the Quarantine with Student Media podcast. We're joined today by many illustrious members of the student media crew, and we're here to talk about, some movie and TV show recommendations of stuff we watched over quarantine. Now, hopefully, you can watch as well and enjoy your time at home. So, let's start with Vitor. Vitor, what movies do you want
So,
to recommend?
I want to recommend more of a series of movies because I know that, in times of quarantine, we don't only have, 2, 3 hours to do nothing. We have quite a lot of time to do nothing since we can't leave our homes. So, I really liked The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. They're about 2 hours, 2 hours and a half. Like, one of them is 3 hours long, and there's 6 movies in total. So it's quite a long watch, but if you can stretch it out, I stretched it out about within a week and a half. I think I watched all of them, rewatched them. I had already seen them, and it was really entertaining because I had something to kind of look forward to every day in the during the holidays when we were in quarantine. And I would recommend that you watch the Hobbit first, Hobbit 1, 2, and 3, and then Lord of the Rings, because the Hobbit, even though it came out afterwards, it does take place beforehand. So I think it's interesting to watch it beforehand as well.
That's great. What do you like about the movies? Why should people watch them?
I mean, The Hobbit is kind of like I haven't played this game, but it's kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing. It's medieval, there's action, there's orcs, there's elves, hobbits, there's dragons, there's all that stuff. It's a very fantasy based kind of war based movie, and it kind of takes you to this world that was based from books, right? And it takes you to this really well made, well produced world of kind of magic and wonder, which is really really cool to kind of uh get away from being stuck in your house for a little bit and be in a magical land.
Vitor, out of all of the movies in the series, which one would you say is your favorite?
Uh, that's a good question. Um, I think out of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, I prefer Lord of the Rings, and my favorite one of the three would probably be. I'm gonna go with The Return of the King, which is the last one, just because. In NYP4, JP, you're gonna remember this. I did a monologue
Fine.
and drama from that movie, and I had to watch the movie like 3 times over just so I could understand properly what I was doing. So it's the one that I've seen the most, and I haven't gotten bored of it. So I'm gonna call it my favorite, but they're all really, really good.
So
I
you got to
remember
watch
that.
them all. Get to
You
the
gotta
last
watch them
one.
all.
JP, what's your pick or
Well,
picks?
my pick is I don't know if it's less well known. It's by director Wes Anderson, who some people might know as the hipster pick. I really like him. His films. I never met him. I really like his films, and I wanted to recommend his 2014 film, The Grand Budapest Hotel, which is one of my favorite films ever. And I watched it a few times actually during quarantine. And it's just talking about the director first. He has such a unique sort of uh, just visual, especially visual style, but also just storytelling style in general, because he's got a lot of center framing symmetrical shots, which is very well known for, very pastel color palette, and the line delivery in his films is very deadpan, to the point, and this really makes him stand out in when so many directors just do stuff very similarly. And this is just the stuff that a lot of people like to talk about. He's there's a lot of stuff under the surface, but I especially like this film because it's like the most him out of all of them. It's just a bit about the film as well. It takes place in various time periods between in the uh, 1900s, and it really every time period has a different aspect ratio. So part of the screen that you can see, and they're just so whimsical and perfectly crafted. It's like a dollhouse or a music box that's just unfolding in front of you. Everything's just so perfectly calculated. And I also have to talk about the cast that this film has, because it really it really astonishes me. Look at everyone who's in it. You might recognize someone here. There's Ray Fiennes, Voldemort himself, Adrian Brody, William Dafoe, Jeff Goldblum, Harvey Keitel, Jude Law, Bill Murray, Edward Norton. There's just so many, and that's just a few of them. There's just so many great people in there.
Well, if you're a hipster or not, you can check out Grand Budapest Hotel. I think it's on Netflix, right?
It isn't on Netflix, or at least not in the Netflixes that I have visited, but it's on Amazon that I know
Amazon
of.
Prime.
So if you have Amazon Prime, be sure to check out Grand Budapest Hotel. Guilherme, do you have a pick? Do you have a movie or series recommendation for us?
I do. My recommendation would be Tenet. It's from the same director as Dunkirk, an incredible film. His name is Christopher Nolan, as most of you might already know. The film itself is an incredibly complex film, to be honest. There are many situations like it's just that the film in a way is told backwards, and it really is bizarre, but like in the film it does make sense to do that, because I don't want to spoil a lot, but like basically the agent is trying to prevent World War III, and then he's able to communicate with the future, and that from there it builds up the story, and then it's just that the film itself, it's so complex that it just makes you rewatch the film every time. I mean, you can, and then you can just, each time you rewatch it, you'll see something and you'll make some connections that you haven't made before. So just the dense complexity of this film is what really intrigues me, and is certainly for me a film worthy for picking and watching and then nitpicking in every single detail.
Okay, if I'm correct, Tenet hasn't been released on like any streaming services yet, right? It's just in movie theaters at the moment.
Just in movie theaters at the moment.
Okay, so for all you people quarantining out there, don't go to the movies. Wait to watch Tenet at home, because don't get coronavirus going to watch a movie, guys. So anyway, Tenet sounds like a great movie. We just gotta wait a bit to see it.
Yeah.
Caio, do you have a movie or TV show recommendation?
Yeah, so I decided that I know it's a little bit like normal, and I think a lot of people have seen it, but I've decided to recommend Guardians of the Galaxy, the first movie. I watched it recently, and it's one of my favorite out of the Marvel movies. I think that the characters, they work really, very well together, and there's a lot of comedic moments mixed with a lot of action-packed scenes to make like a very like enjoyable movie to watch for people who like action movies.
So should only people who like superhero movies watch this one, or is this one more for everyone?
I think that it's probably more for the superhero people to watch who like the superhero movies, but I think it's still enjoyable even if you don't like superhero.
It's just like Baby Yoda in the Mandalorian series that's been coming out recently. Like Baby Yoda blew up. It's kind of like the same thing with Groot, I think. Even people that don't like Marvel movies, even people that don't like superhero movies, they can watch it just to see Groot. I think it's still completely worth it to watch it just to see Groot in the movie.
So, Mateus, what is your?
Oh, okay. So unlike everyone here, I'm pretty sure I'm the first one to. I'm the only one who suggests just is gonna suggest an animated movie. It's in fact an anime movie. It's called A Silent Voice. It came out 4 years ago in 2016. It's about depression and suicide, and other topics like around the area. It's a drama more than a romance comedy or stuff that people would associate with anime. It's a very different type of anime movie if you know what I mean. And
So, is this? So, what do you like? What do you like about it? What's the plot? Come on, tell us about it.
it's basically about a deaf girl who was bullied by a guy in elementary school, and that the kid who bullied the girl and ends up getting bullied himself in middle school and in high school. So he gets thoughts of depression, and then eventually he meets the elementary school girl, and the plot goes on after that, and the two of them start to talk and
And the
go
plot
talk about their
thickens.
lives. Yeah. And the climax, eventually in the climax,
Oh, no spoilers! No
Hey,
spoilers!
come on.
I cried in the climax. Let's just say I cried in the climax.
It's a tearjerker, and it
Yeah.
sounds like a great anti-bullying story for everyone, for every student watching this. Always important to be reminded that our actions impact other people's lives as well.
It's also on Netflix if anyone is interested.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit are on Netflix and Amazon Prime. The Hobbit just got out of Amazon Prime like last month.
So lastly, I'm gonna make my recommendation. I'm the only one here who's gonna recommend a TV show, but this one I liked it so much, and I watched it over quarantine, so I think it was a good choice. If you have Amazon Prime Video, it's absolutely essential that you check out The Boys. It's a very good take. It's a superhero show where, not to spoil anything, but the superheroes are the bad guys. Very violent show, so if you're under the age of 16, don't watch it. We do not endorse you watching it. Ask your parents for permission. But I think it's a very good show because not only is it funny and action-packed and has a bunch of lovable characters and evil characters, but it also makes a lot of comments on our society today that I think are very important. And I hope everyone can check it out. So this has been the first edition of the Quarantine with Student Media at St.Francis podcast. We want to thank you for watching, tuning in. More episodes will come out, and we hope you like it.
We'll catch you guys next time.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Hey guys.